Hi, this is Bob Roberts, and I'm the dead man talking. I have stage 4 cancer in my liver, and possibly only a few months to live. So I've invited 4 of my best friends from college days to talk about cancer, suffering, death, hope, and God. I can't wait for you to meet Will Gawkin, Jason Jans, Ellis Murphy, and Josh Darnell. My desire is to tackle big questions and challenges that my probable near-term demise raises, and to always season the sobering with humanity and humor. Don't expect nice and tidy solutions with a bow on top. It's going to get messy.
All right, everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Dead Man Talking podcast. We are here with the dead man himself, Mr. Bob Roberts. And Bob has brought us all together on this journey. We're just coming off of our trip to Pennsylvania. Had a great time together. And Bob, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Jay. The further away I get from chemo, the more capacity I have. My neuropathy is still awful, but I have really good energy and I have great motivation, man. I'm very missional these days.
What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is when chemo, doesn't have to be chemotherapy, but chemo fries your peripheral nerve endings. So it just feels like your hands and feet are perpetually falling asleep with some real kind of spiky tingles and maybe like cement drying in your body. It's pretty awful.
Bummer. How often is that happening to you?
It's all the time. It's constant.
Bummer.
Bummer. Sounds rough.
So anyway, we got a lot to talk about.
Our empathy is worn out. Now we're just like,
Bob was supposed to die 3 months ago. There's nothing in the tank.
what are you complaining about if all you guys neuropathy? Come on.
You're still alive. Shut up, big boy.
Well,
Big boy.
that is the great segue is Big Boy. So we were actually spent 3 wonderful days together in Pennsylvania, and we had a goodbye breakfast, and we chose Cracker Barrel. And actually, instead of it being a nice warm goodbye and I love you, and that was 3 days, Bob decided to kind of launch into a speech to all of us sitting in the newly decorated Cracker Barrel, which a lot of people don't like, and we didn't care for it either. But anyway, the biscuits were on their way, and Bob, why don't you take us to that moment, Bob, when you kind of said, "Attention, gents, I want to talk to you."
Yeah. So it was something that I had been thinking about. And basically I said, look, y'all have had a front row seat to a guy your age that's dying for the past 2 years. And then I made the comment, and we're very, very certain that it's not because of family history or genealogy. My cancer is almost certainly a result of poor health habits, in particular diet, and to a lesser extent exercise. And I then made this comment. I said, looking at you men, you're not necessarily the epitome of health. And I really feel like that's about as low a blow as I got. Some of you chided me afterwards that...
Oh, Bob, we don't want to get into the reaction yet. We just want to make sure we understood what you actually said at the table, because I think we were taken a little bit off guard by you saying this, because you kind of looked at all of us and said, you all have work to do. And I think nobody really understood where you're going. And once we finally understood where you were going, I think we kind of paused and looked up a little bit shocked. I think I said to you, Bob, are you fat shaming us right now? And go ahead. So what did you say then?
Yeah, I said, in a way, maybe, but it's it's actually motivated by a love, right? So I mean, I lived for almost 5 years in Asia, and I brought some of it back with me. The Asian love language, the definitive Asian love language, is derision and insults to your face. If somebody loves you over there,
Yeah.
they will tell you what's wrong with you.
Yeah. Even though we're not Asian, but anyway, I don't know. Ellis and Murph, did you guys, or Ellis and Bill,
Listen.
did you guys
I'm
feel
not-
the love? Did you feel the love in that moment? How were you feeling?
You know who I felt the love from? I felt the love from Seth Hoffman from Camp K, who just told us that we all looked like we worked out.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right.
He actually thought I worked out.
Yeah, he looked around and said, "You guys all look buff," and we were like, I'm going. I'd rather have Seth tell me falsehoods than Bob fat shame me."
Well, and then the thing is Bob was like, "Look at me, guys. Look at me."
No.
And I'm like, "Well, how did you lose your weight?"
Cancer.
Cancer. Yeah,
So
fair point.
there were two other guys at the table. Seth, who is the camp director of Camp Kinesataki, and then Ricky Blaha, who is our editor of the podcast. So there were a full 7 guys at the table. And in my opinion, we kind of all looked very similar around the point Bob was making. And so for Seth to come at us and say, "You guys look physically fit, in shape, buff." And then the biscuits dropped right in the center of the table at that moment.
And the conversation was over.
Did we go any further in the conversation than that?
Just made fun of Bob.
Made fun of me. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it was 6 against 1, right?
So, I mean, and I'm not beating my own chest here, right?
You need a chest to beat.
Let's just be perfectly candid. If you're approaching that table from 20 or 30 feet away and you have to choose one guy that looks from that distance to be the most physically fit,
Josh.
As long as he doesn't have to walk. Yeah.
My God.
I think this is a bit shameful that it's the guy that's been fighting cancer for the last 2 years is doing pretty okay. So like I'm trying to bring you into a new you, right? I'm like, come on, guys, because I don't want you to have to go through this. And lo and behold, that was a somewhat prophetic utterance at the barrel.
Yeah, we kind of just blew you off until a couple days ago.
Yeah, so then life took a turn where the worst part of the whole episode that I had was, I have to admit that Bob Roberts is right, but I, on Saturday night, I've been feeling lightheaded. I actually felt lightheaded on the trip. It was actually at a nice dinner that we went to that I was laughing so hard, I almost blacked out. And it was really a weird experience. And I had almost passed out a couple weeks before that. Well, anyway, fast forward to last Saturday night, I felt a pain in my chest and felt lightheaded and queasy. And it was 10:30 at night. And I felt myself going down. I was, coming down the stairs. And so I kind of like jumped over to the couch, shouted my wife's name because I could see my head spinning, and I went under. I passed out, and then was kind of like clammy and sweaty for like 10 minutes and had pain up in my neck. But then it kind of calmed down. I took some Advil and thought, well, I'm just going to go to bed and sleep it off, and hopefully I wake up better. Woke up at 4 a.m., didn't feel good, so I just snuck out of the bedroom, tried to let my wife sleep, drove myself to the ER, and that's when they hooked me up and said, your heart is beating irregularly, and which began a 48-hour journey in the ER, diagnosed me with atrial fibrillation, which is where your electrical impulses don't match up with your heartbeats, and it's a pretty serious condition if it goes untreated. That now I'm sitting here at 52 years old in ER, everybody walking in going, man, you're young to be in here. And, but, kind of a little bit of a wake-up call. You can say it's caused by genetics. You can say it's caused by stress. You can say it's caused by obesity. Nobody really knows. But by and large, You got one life, you got one ticker. So that kind of made me go, well, Bob was the prophet crying alone in the wilderness, but I probably need to like take that up and go serious. And so then I was like, hey guys, what if we all took up Bob's admonition here? We all got together and, decided to lose some weight. And, so Josh Darnell came up with the idea of a campaign called Crack the Barrel, from the Cracker Barrel speech, but we take our barrel bellies and see if we can dispense some weight. And immediately the mockery kind of began, I think, at that point. Ellis, you want to give your...
Well, because Jason always puts his little bit of Jasonness on everything. It's not just, hey, let's all get together and lose weight. It's if you don't lose enough weight, the rest of us get to embarrass you the next time we get together. And if you don't lose enough weight, we'll have Bob put an AI fat shaming image on social media. And so my initial response is, this is just typical. Bob, our friend, almost dies of cancer, and we all get together. We come together missionally. We do this podcast, holding Bob up, really kind of helping him press forward, and he's speaking into us. Jans has a little heart hiccup, and we are being shamed and threatened into coerced into joining gyms and dieting and getting on scales and accountability.
Yeah, I refuse to suffer alone. So if I'm going to be miserable and go vegan, you guys are too. And I wasn't very shameful. I just said, hey, if you don't hit at least losing 10 pounds over the period of Crack the Barrel, we all get to decide on a shameful activity for you to do. And if you lose over 20 pounds, those people are the heroes, and they get to pick something for the non-heroes to do on our next Dead Man Talking trip. So it's a little bit of motivation. I think some of you wanted cash prizes and stuff.
Yeah, I prefer a little bit of a positive reinforcement, but
Yeah.
I mean, we can do a carrot and a stick, but
I do want to give it to Jay. He did like text. He goes, now we don't have to do this, but somehow we're all doing it.
Yeah, I didn't really mean that. I just wanted you to all feel like you had an escape hatch to see if any of you would do the shameful thing and
This is
like say, no, I'm going to keep just chugging the Cokes and the
I
biscuits and the gravy and
I
the...
think through this whole thing, Jason, one of my favorite lines from you is when I suggested maybe you needed to find a less stressful job. You remember your response?
If my job was setting up chairs on the beaches of Cozumel, I would make it stressful for people.
Yeah.
I would be like, does everybody get an equal chair? Are these chairs the best in the business?
Yeah.
Are people rotating the best chairs so there's equality? And are people being cared for here?
No,
And-
that's way too nice. It'd be more like this. It'd be more like, did you mean to set it up like that?
Yeah, that's for sure. Why did you set the chairs up?
Why are
So
you doing
cock
this?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I would have definitely criticized about everything that. Yeah.
So in a perfect world, guys, immediately after the Cracker Barrel talk, which was only about 2 minutes and filled with grace, it was not Old Testament prophecy. It was very, very much New Testament.
But we know how you've really felt.
I feel great now that you're on this road, and I sense the motivation coming. It just took quite the wallop, and I guess if anybody could handle it, come out of it, and then lead us into something good, it's you, JJ.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of coming up with a AI video that would be Dead Man Talking's Race to the Casket. And we would start off by going, and there's Bob Roberts. He's coming around the first corner and he's in the lead. He's got stage 4 cancer. And everybody's at least half a lap behind. Oh no, There's Murph. Murph can't even move. He can't get out of bed. He has got rheumatoid arthritis. He's coming up behind Bob. Oh, Josh. Josh drops into the Ukraine to fight with the Ukrainian army. He runs in front of Bob Roberts. He's in the lead. We haven't heard from Josh in 2 weeks. Oh, no, Jason. Jason's in ER. He comes up right next to Josh Darnell. Oh, no, Bob's on the phone to the cancer clinic in Arizona. He takes the lead again.
What about Will, though? Where's Will in all that?
Will's probably going to win.
Will?
Will's just going to drop
Yeah.
dead of a stroke.
He's the dark horse.
Yeah. Well, I guess we now have, it looks like everybody on the chart that I saw. And by the way, if you support Dead Man Talking for $100 a month, we'll show you our weight chart.
What the-
But it's going to take a lot more if you want to see the weigh-in pictures.
If you want the before and after pictures signed by the Dead Man Talking himself.
Wow.
All right, so all of us are going to try to lose 20 pounds by April 1st, which we are all over 200 pounds. We are all between 200 and 260 pounds.
Josh isn't on there. He's under 200, I bet.
Yeah, I bet he's under.
Yeah, he probably is. So anyway, you guys want to talk through what you're going to do? I mean, let's help. Maybe we could start a weight loss revolution, anti-Ozempic, and actually do it the old-fashioned way by working out and dieting. Anybody want to tell what they're going to actually do to lose the weight?
I can throw a little something out there. I've already been watching my diet, and actually the conversation with Bob, and then watching what you just went through, Jason, and frankly the conversations I've had with Trevor Gearhart as well, through his deal, who's always been a guy I look to as super healthy. I have started to crap back down on my diet again, and I've got a good gym membership here, and I go pretty often, and I hit the steam room and I hit the hot tub. So
treadmill, Murph.
I occasionally do a bike, but it's usually steam room and hot tub. So,
You really you go to the gym and that.
For the most part, I do a little bit on the bike. So my 16-year-old son and I are actually going to start going every morning before he goes to school, and actually do some physical working out together. Monday through Friday is the plan, starting next week.
Hey,
Yes.
Good
Hey.
work.
Awesome.
that is great.
I love that, Alice.
And you're going to try to lose
23, 24.
23 pounds. You get the highest goal match with Ricky. So, yeah. All right. That's good. Will?
Yeah, I'm diet wise. I am probably, well, first of all, I'm about as unhealthy as I've ever been. I was doing pretty good 6 months ago, but I just had such a hard 6 months. So I'm hitting diet and exercise. Diet is pretty much a plant based. I do some like yogurt, so some dairy and some eggs to get protein. It's just hard to get protein plant wise. And then just exercising 5 days a week. I do. I've got a treadmill here right under my desk that I'll use, or I'll go to the gym and then do biking, and then just some strength training. I've got like just 5 muscle groups I rotate through. So
Nice.
when I do that, I maintain. Over the years, I've maintained about the same weight for about 15 years now.
Nice.
But my danger zone, I mean, if I gain 5 pounds over, what I kind of hovered at, man, I feel it. I look at my heart rate goes up, all that. So it's actually very timely, and I'm not rejoicing in that you had this AFib circumstance, but it's just good for me. And then just in God's providence, I mean, this same week, I mean, we've had 4 deaths connected to our church. So it's just kind of kicked me up a notch. And God can take me anytime, but I just feel like there's still things I want to be a part of.
Well, I'm going to go vegetarian 5 days a week.
Whoa.
Try to keep under 1,750 calories 5 days a week. I like to give myself 1 or 2 free days in there because I want a sustainable
Yeah.
rhythm. Exercise 5 days a week or 140 minutes, not including walking. I actually saw this joke that said the goal was to work out 20 minutes a day, and then for every day you didn't, it stacked up. And he said, tomorrow I'm going to go walk for 23 hours or something. So I like that idea of punishing myself a little bit for not working out and making sure that every week I log those minutes. And then I'm going to try to do 7,500 steps. I've tried to do 10,000 steps. It's really hard. But I could do 7,500 steps 4 days a week, is how I'm going to go about it. And I'm of the belief that 90% of all of it is diet, and exercise has a twofold. I think it can help with the weight loss, but it just helps your body and your muscles and your skeletal system all be better functioning.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jay. I think when you exercise, you're just more motivated not to mess it up with the diet because you can't outrun the fork. That's been a line that's really helped me. You can't outrun the fork. So just I'm just doing very basic things. I'm getting on the elliptical every day for about an hour, and I'll do about 5 or 6 miles on the elliptical. And I've got some dumbbells out back. And I'll go out there a few times a day if I'm at home. And I've been doing farmer carries, and ChatGPT actually thinks farmer carries up and down my driveway is really something good that I should be doing for
Where do you
someone in
find
my.
where do you find the farmers?
Well, this is a term for those people that do go to the gym and actually
I knew it. I just could smell it.
they don't veer off to the steam room
A hot tub.
or the hot tub.
I'm gonna just circulate water around my body and see if the weight just comes
Hey,
off.
it's good for the rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah, take that. Take that.
Because that's the goal.
A farmer carry is just lugging heavy weight in each hand. I'm using dumbbells to go up and down my driveway. ChatGPT was thrilled. ChatGPT says, Bob, for somebody recovering from recent surgery and fighting stage 4 cancer, that's way better than cardio.
Yeah, Bob, but you told your
Bob.
Chat GGP, you said, Chat, I just need everything you say to encourage me because I've got cancer face. So just
That's only when I'm doing sermon prep. But when it comes to physical fitness, I've asked for no sugar-coated.
Cancer Face got his Chat GPT all programmed to be positive and encouraging as he does his farmer carries.
It calls me brother now.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, Bob.
Ooh.
Bob, you need to get a new bot.
yeah, it's time to
Switch to Claude or Gemini.
yeah erase it. It needs regeneration.
I think you need to go back to books.
I'm going to. I do bike. I have a bike at home. I do not like going to the gym. I don't like the time it takes. I don't like changing the clothes, all that stuff. So bike and weights I have at home, and that's what I'm gonna do. So, and walk with my wife at night. So those
That's
are mine.
good. That's a good time.
Oh, I also am going to be asleep by 10, 5 days a week.
I think
So
that's a good one.
So I can get up
Yeah, that's
early.
good. How are you guys cutting out sugary drinks?
I am. I don't drink sugar.
Yeah,
I don't drink sugar.
I don't drink sugar either.
That's good.
That's why you got cancer, Bob. We just found it right there.
Right. Well, a combination of sugary drinks and maybe like the high potency energy drinks, Bangs and Reigns. I used to guzzle about 2 or 3 of those a day. So who knows?
I've never had one of those, like Monster or any of those.
That's why you're Mr. Northland and I'm not.
I just like a volume of food. Food for me is very fun, enjoyable. I can pack away a lot.
Yeah.
and I can get second helpings and just enjoy the whole thing. I can wolf down a huge bag of that pre-cooked popcorn at night and just watch a movie with my wife. And
You know what? I'd love to hear like why we eat. I mean, like what you're doing right there, because I have one, and I'm kind of curious if it's what you guys have.
I think honestly, I was raised in a home of 7 people, 5 kids, without a lot of money.
Yep.
So when the food was thrown on the table, it was literally
Yeah.
a race. So I eat dinner in like 5 minutes if I'm not like really concentrating. And it was more of like store up the reservoir, like pack in all you can. Uh, and I think those things are wired. So I just love uh, eating makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah.
It's freedom. It's there. Like I don't have to worry. Yeah.
But
All you can eat.
all you guys throughout your adult life have proven to yourself and others the ability to get into shape. I've seen all of you in shape. So what's the deal?
Yeah, you were at my wedding.
Ha. No. But there's been probably
Different seasons. Yeah.
There's been three or four times
Yeah.
where you've snapped back into shape for a while.
Yeah.
So is this going to be another one of those dealios?
I think that's the question is, will we actually change? Or are we just going to continue to lie to ourselves to do these episodic weight crashes? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we really change?
Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know if it's not that I don't care, but I actually think it's like, I'm glad I've had these, like I have really stayed the same weight for 15 to 20 years. And I'm glad for these things that motivate me for a season. Like this is better than me just going off into the sunset.
I would say too, there is to use an old fashioned buzzword, there is a paradigm shift that happens a little bit around this when you have a friend who has a heart attack and crashes into a building. You have a friend that thinks he's having a heart attack, and so he drives to the hospital anyways. You have cancer. You have, I was diagnosed early this year with type 2 diabetes. And so you go real serious, like, okay, we're literally killing ourselves here. And I dieted my way out of that, and I never want to diet myself back into it. So I think when we see these things, and we're also at the age where our peers are starting to drop dead, there is something about that is, I think, maybe a different kind of motivator than trying to get in shape for something,
Okay, let's play that out a little bit, because I remember the first time I got diagnosed with high blood pressure, I was 45 years old. My mom was diagnosed at 35, so I was like, okay, I got 10 more years before I got into stage 1 hypertension. And it so shook me that I was like, I'm 45 years old and I'm taking a pill every day. And that lasted about 90 days. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to take a pill every day. Then I got diagnosed with sleep apnea. And so I talked to the woman on the phone and I'm like, what percent of people get off the sleep apnea machine when they lose weight and get in shape? She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, exactly what I asked. She goes, nobody ever gets off the sleep apnea machine. And I was like, okay. So then I was in addiction recovery work for quite a while. I remember one guy, he came to me and said his doctor told him that if he had one more drink, his liver was going to give out and he was going to die. And he went out and drank that next Friday night and he didn't die. And I guess that's always made me like wonder, like, if we even have a gun to our head, will we stop and actually really change? Or is there something so strong as gravity pulling us into ill health that we're just talking words and we don't really change it? I mean, most people I know that have lost significant weight have gained it all back. Like, can we change?
I think the stats sure show that most don't.
Yeah.
What's so weird about is Trevor, I mean, like 5 years of a serious health kick, is the one that had the heart attack. I mean, it's like, in some ways, you're like, I mean, our days are numbered either way.
I mean, this is super encouraging all of a sudden, guys. Have you guys tried anything like this within a community that's edging you forward rather than doing it in isolation? Because I never have. I mean, all of my stuff has been, all right, I'm gonna drop this weight, and I just kind of do it alone. So that's kind of a different thing, at least from my experience, is having people I'm doing this with.
Community. I mean, that's what we're hoping with our Crack the Barrel challenge, is that we can
Right.
mock each other, encourage each other, reward each other, prod each other, whatever we got to do to get it off, I actually, if I can shift a little bit, I was actually reading The Imitation of Christ this morning by Thomas A. Kempis, and listen to what he says. He's talking about, can we actually really get better and spiritually even develop? And he says, if each year should see one fault rooted out from us, we should go quickly on to perfection. But on the contrary, we often feel that we were better and holier in the beginning of our conversion than after many years of profession. Zeal and progress ought to increase day by day, yet now it seemeth a great thing if one is able to retain some portion of his first ardor. If we put some slight stress on ourselves at the beginning, then afterwards we should be able to do all things with ease and joy. It is a hard thing to break through a habit, and yet a harder thing to go contrary to our own will. Yet if thou overcome not slight and easy obstacles, how shalt thou overcome greater ones? Withstand thy will at the beginning, and unlearn an evil habit, lest it lead thee little by little into worse difficulties. Oh, if thou knewest what peace to thyself thy holy life should bring to thyself, and what joy to others, methinketh thou wouldst be more zealous for spiritual profit. So, I mean, that was like this morning going, on the spiritual side, how much do we actually really change spiritually, and physically just, the other aspect of it?
Well, that was awesome. I wish I would have just read that at Cracker Barrel. I'd feel a lot better.
You have to be as holy as Thomas at Kempis.
Wow.
You did a great job with the these and this.
That's encouraging, right? That's encouraging to hear from a saintly saint of old who just, similar to the Apostle Paul, the things that I don't want to do, I do them, and the things I.
What can you help me out, Jay? That was the first time I heard that. Was when he said, if we actually increase little by little, we become perfect. Was he actually saying the point is that we don't? Or I was trying to totally track the meaning.
Well, I'm joining chapter 9, and I'm joining on this midway through his argument.
Okay.
But he's basically saying, discipline yourself to godliness. And he starts off section 5 by saying, if each year should see one fault rooted out from us, we should go quickly on to perfection. I don't think he's talking about like Wesleyan perfectionism. I think he's just saying, if we just did one little thing a year and actually really change that, it'd be amazing how we would actually progress in our sanctification. But he's bemoaning the fact that most Christians just don't grow, right? We all have the same problems over and over again. We can see that we're, the physical and the spiritual are similar. They're, we're all complete whole beings.
Well,
so this lack of discipline physically, there's a lack of discipline spiritually.
I think when you're first converted, though, you don't see yourself nearly as clearly. I mean, your anthropology is pretty optimistic, and then you get to know the Lord, and you get to see His love and holiness, and you see yourself clearly in that light. And so I think you look at the example of the Apostle Paul. By the end of his life, he was calling himself the chief of sinners, right? Like the worst sinner that's ever lived. So I can testify to that. I became a Christian in 1995, and man, I was flying high as a kite. I was flying like an eagle, man, until I hit that mountain of reality of who I was and reality of the world that I'm in.
Yeah, it's funny. We're poking, past the food a little bit. It's like, it's this,
isn't it somewhat spiritual though?
Yeah, no, yeah, I know. That's what I mean. We're poking past it. I'm not saying it's bad. I feel like there's about 5-6 areas in my life that it's like a fight every day. I do feel like over a week, it seems like there is some progress, or over a year or whatever, but man, it's hard. Like, and I think this area of self-discipline is difficult.
So one area, that I'm really going to dive into on the spiritual side of my episode is really studying stress and
Yeah.
how to handle that. People walk up to me, my doctor's like, "Do you feel stress?" I'm like, I got 4 kids and a ministry and responsibilities. I don't know what's to not live in stress is, around a lot of things. So, but I think I've used it as an excuse and neglected, like really studying it, understanding it. I mean, I was in Matthew 6 today, restudying Bob the Bird's passage you preached in Pennsylvania. There's another like passage to it in Luke, I think.
Yes.
But when he says, take no thought for tomorrow will hold its own trouble. I'm misquoting the exact words there, but how much of our life do we spend worrying about tomorrow?
Yeah.
And the next day, and the next day? And I'm like, that's a really, really nugget to chew on. So, but I'm also reading a secular book on stress management. I'm reading a Craig Rochelle book on that with my wife as well. So I'm trying to I don't know if stress caused my deal or not, but I do know I would like to even get to the point where I have practices, whether it's prayer practices, breathing exercises, or whatever, just so that I can lower the stress level in my life. I don't know if my stress is a 10 or if it's a 5. I just know it's there, and I could do a much better job, I think, of handling it. Well, any words to each other tonight before we wrap this up?
No, I do want to say something. I mean, like, I'm thankful that you get another go at this, Jay. And I'm thankful that you're not, that this wasn't the time that God had a point for you. I just, even when I first heard that, at first it sounded like not a big deal, but then as it became more of a deal, I began to think, man, I'm just not ready for this yet. And we're joking and all this kind of stuff about Bob and you beating Bob and all that kind of stuff, but it's going to be a hard day when one of you guys, do die. And I'm so thankful. I'm thankful even now for your desire to lean into this. You said it in passing on our thread, but I understood it now. You just said it. You said, what does God have for me in this? And I'm blessed by that. So thanks,
Amen.
Jay.
I appreciate that. You all 3 of you called me, and I appreciate that a lot. Bob's the only one that cried when he called me, so just a note to the other 2 of you. I felt it more from Bob.
Yeah, I think
I really don't want to lose, man. I want to go first. I want to greet you with the hand in the case.
I mean, Bob's kind of podcast first. This thing stinks if you're not on here, Jason. So
it wasn't about you passing. It was about his podcast.
The ratings.
Hey,
I think I am going to start another podcast just to compete against that man.
No, I feel like this is going to be
hard to flutter.
Your near-death experience is going to be the necessary bump to bring us into 2026 strong.
Are you going to invite the same guys, Jay? Like, you can have Bob on your podcast.
I've even noticed, it's just become kind of a thing over the last 3 months. He's going to make it for a little bit longer. And all the traffic is this way. It's just like all the Facebook interaction is real.
Got him through. Well, that's such a reflection of our age, right there.
We'll wait again. We'll wait again until he's really on that final lap, and we'll participate. But he's okay for now,
Yeah. Will, we'd really like it if you would like trip and fall randomly off your front porch, and break something. We could have another tragedy episode. I think our top 4 episodes are all tragedy episodes, like personal stories of.
Or we could look at it another way. They're all episodes that have other people than us.
Right.
Except Murph.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Murph is number 2 highest rated podcast episode of all time.
My mind today, as we talked about moving, taking on this subject tonight, the podcast, has I have gone into 1 Corinthians 9. I've read it several times today, and it's this beautiful, rich chapter where Paul gives up all his rights. Basically, I have the right to this, but I don't, and it's like this extreme. It's liberating, this liberty he feels to do that, and he goes into the section about racers, the athletes being disciplined in all things, and then he goes into I keep my body under subjection, which segues into chapter 10, which he talks immediately about idolatry. Right, there's this imperative to keep our bodies under subjection, and I have always failed at that. And I'm not just talking about what I eat, but the way I've eaten. I'm not talking about necessarily my physical fitness or lack thereof, but the fact that I have often not cared. And I think we can move into a place of idolatry where we are just idolizing our own comfort and satisfying our own physical lusts in that way. And I mean, I don't fast. I hardly ever have fasted about anything in my life. Not that that's for health, but that doesn't occur to me because I really like to be on a schedule of eating regularly and all this stuff. So I think in many ways I have tended towards the idolatrous side of gluttony in some aspects of just the way I handle my life. Excess, I guess. So
Yeah, one of my sons is a very devout believer, and he said, Dad, you know why we fast? We fast because we learn to say no in the little things. So when the big things come, we can say no.
yeah, exactly.
I was like, man, I've never thought of it that way.
I think we fast because we're equipped with divine technology, and that you, as a temporal being, connect to the eternal and visible through the mode of fasting.
Call it technology.
Yeah, I think it's divine technology.
Like, so you would say there's something genuinely spiritually supercharging about the experience. Like, in other words, you'd be accessing grace.
Yeah, and I mean,
Supernatural grace.
even for the unbeliever, I think that they are getting in touch with a different realm, with that metaphysical, invisible, eternal realm. But
Well,
when I'm doing it, I'm looking for Jesus. I'm crying out for grace. I'm worshiping, and you're detaching from a fundamental thing that holds you to the temporal visible, and you're exchanging that for a glimpse at the eternal invisible and a desire for it. So I think that's God equipped you with this technology. I mean, Jesus said something shocking there in Matthew when he talked about why his disciples couldn't cast the one that had the demon out. So this kind comes not out but by prayer and fasting.
yeah. Which would mean the spiritual and the physical are not as distinct or separate as perhaps like psychology, or I would even call like biblical faculty psychology, would tend to indicate. Like, it's all connected, and we are beings that our bodies are connected to our souls, and the actions of one affect the other, right? Like that we're in whole beings. So we're on a spiritual journey. So this crack the barrel
Yes.
is probably
Right.
fundamentally a spiritual journey,
yes.
Yeah, and
because
people that are watching us right now, I think there's probably primary thoughts going on. Number one, they're probably encouraged. They're like, oh yeah, good for them. I might give it a whirl too. And then the other thought is, I don't think those guys are going to do very good.
And if we were a betting crowd, that's what we could do. Dead Man Talking FanDuel, where you could bet on one of the DMT guys and say who's going to win.
Okay.
And it could raise the money.
Yeah. Jason, like, just right here, rate, in your opinion, like, who's going to be most successful on this? So, like, least successful to most successful. Let's just go ahead and get it out there right now.
I really don't know. Besides myself.
You're gonna be both.
I don't know. I don't know if we've ever entered into this space with each other where we've held each other accountable for weight loss ever.
Yeah, I think Jay's gonna just smash it because I've heard him like this in times past about things, and then he crushes it for a while. I think Jay is going to do that 90 to 120 days epic journey, and he's going to leave us in the dust. He's going to be shaming us in a month or two, and we'll just be we'll be pedaling our little bikes with training wheels trying to keep up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I ate like a 32-ounce steak before the weigh-in just so I could, game the system already.
Wow.
Ellis, what do you think?
Maybe that was wrong.
Well, I think Bob's going to have the hardest time losing 20 more pounds.
I do too.
Yeah, but he's got surgery. He can always have him go in and say, "Can you whack something out?"
He takes some more out.
He's got doctors on his side.
Weight loss through amputation. I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah, I hope we all. I mean, that's the win, right? The win is that we all lose 20 pounds. We all go to the next Dead Man Talking trip, and we don't have to sit at Cracker Barrel and get, chastened by Bob. And
let's have a celebratory Cracker Barrel biscuits and gravy when we win this.
Yeah, I just want to see what Seth is going to say about us when we all lose 20 pounds. I mean,
yeah, because he was really complimentary. He thought
he'd be like, "You guys are bodybuilders."
Yeah, but once we lose the fat, then he knows we're not bodybuilders. He's going to see it.
Well, this has been awesome. And thanks for listening to Dead Man Talking. Thanks for an unusual episode, but you're actually watching us live our lives out in front of each other. And we all have a date on our casket. And so we would like that date to be as far in the future as possible, and especially for our dear friend Bob. And thanks for tuning in. Thank you for joining us today on the Dead Man Talking podcast. We hope this conversation impacted you. And if you know somebody else who could use it and be blessed by it, feel free to share it. Let's remember, we never know how many conversations we have left. So let's be grateful for every single one and make everyone count. God bless, and we look forward to our next talk together.